You guys good over
Take him
there?
home?
Huh? Oh, we good. What's up?
You good?
I do my thing, man. I do my thing.
What just happened back
You
there?
finished with them?
I swear to
No.
God, I didn't hear. Oh
That was
wait,
from
sorry,
someone
wrong one.
else.
I didn't
Alright,
hear
no,
nothing.
I think you people were kissing by now. I think they went out, you know. I think they went
Yeah,
out
I
here.
heard some kissing sounds.
I think they went that way.
I heard luscious lips on luscious lips.
Yo, that was some Ottomans, you know. That was like two Ottomans.
That wasn't mean spirit. That's haram.
All right, everyone can hear me, right?
That's haram. That's haram. I don't know that.
That wasn't mean.
What?
All of you pieces of shit can hear me?
Marlo.
All right, so here's what's gonna happen. You guys fuck around in this courtroom. You're gonna find out. You're gonna be held
Not
with a
even
contempt
on
charge.
duty.
That language.
You want to fucking bet? You want to fucking bet? Take a look at that.
What that mean? That don't mean you're on duty because you got your badge.
Don't get dressed like you're in court, Marlo.
I want to find out.
Well, find out. $30,000 and a 30-month in Bolingbrook for contempt. That's what the fudge just
15
said.
minutes of work. I got that.
I reckon we still let our bang
Here,
anyway.
you ready?
Excuse me, Spirit.
Yeah.
You just need broccoli and we start?
Oh, there he is. Oh, there he is.
So we should
Now
start?
walk it out.
Masks off in the courtroom. Remove your masks.
Yeah, we'll find out.
Hey guys,
it's in the state.
Rusty, you here?
Yes.
Yeah.
We're gonna start.
All right.
So,
Thanks.
you ready?
Fucking didn't, man.
Oh, yeah, no, we didn't.
Elmer, shut up. What's his name?
Let them through.
Who's that?
Lead day, watch it.
Oh Lord.
You got this, Roy Hinch. I believe in you.
Hey Ricky, hey David.
All
Thanks
rise.
for coming to support.
Honorable Judge Fudge presiding, State of San Andreas.
Sit in the front row.
All right, Judge. Everybody be seated.
Thank you for coming, everybody.
Spirit,
Tonight we have the
stop
case of Luca
moving.
Carboni versus Los Santos Police Department and Mr. Preacher. For the plaintiffs, who do we have?
For the plaintiffs, yes, we have obviously Mr. Carboni, but I'll be representing him, Roy Hinch from Hinch and Associates, alongside Pat Miller as my second chair.
Thank you very much. Who do we have for the defendants?
Yes, Your Honor. I'm the District Attorney, Guillaume Fontaine de la Tour Bourgeois.
And you're representing whom?
God damn.
I'll be representing the LSPD and Mr. Preacher.
So you represent Mr. Preacher too?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you very much.
I don't want to forget my wonderful colleagues. Sorry, the Assistant District Attorney, Mr. Roman Amadeus. I thought he'd introduce himself. But, you know, he's here.
All right. Mr. Ranch, it's your case. You got an opening statement for me?
Of course, of course. My client, Luca Carboni, on the day of 4/18/2023. Yes, my client was trespassing in a house. Was then attacked by somebody with a bat, presumed to be the homeowner. Used his firearm to defend himself from the bat. Then went outside and had been notified about two police officers that had arrived on scene. Had a conversation with said police officers, and we'll hear a lot about this story throughout the testimonies, but I want to make a few things clear here. Luca Carboni then handed over his firearm to the officers. He attempted to flee in a car, was stopped by spike strips from that car. Then there was another bike on scene. We'll hear all about this again in testimony, but there was another bike on scene. Now, there was a bit of a shouting match. There was some guns pointed, but quite a bit of time in between guns pointed, then put away, then run into a bike. Now, Luca Carboni, remember, had no weapon on him at this time, and there was and the driver of the motorcycle, who's here today, Letty Farrelly, also had no weapon brandished at the time getting on the bike. They were both shot down, Letty first, and then Luca afterwards, and then a shootout did
We're not getting
conspire
away with
after
this summer.
that with Polo Farrelly. Now, the biggest things for us to focus on for my client here, Mr. Carboni, is the excessive use of force against the client. Now, there needs to be an imminent danger. An imminent danger. And let me pull this up here to read this out for you. All right. How
Hi,
the penal
Sonny.
code reads on this 835A1.
Hi, Sunny.
I
It's a
did not
little
mean
bit
to
of a
push you,
longer
I'm
one,
so
but it's
sorry.
important here.
Let's go to
That the authority to use physical force
I'll have to sit over
conferred
here.
on peace officers by this section is a serious responsibility that shall be exercised judiciously and with respect for human rights and dignity for the sanctity of every human life. The legislation further finds and declares that every person has a right to be free from excessive use of force by officers acting under color of law. Now, 835ACA says to defend against an imminent threat of death or serious bodily injury to the officer or to another. Now, the penal code goes on to explain what an imminent threat would look like. A threat of death or seriously bodily injury is imminent when, based on the totality of the circumstances, a reasonable officer in the same situation will believe that a person has the present ability, opportunity, and apparent intent to immediately cause death or serious bodily injury to the peace officer or another person. An imminent harm is not merely a fear of future harm. No matter how great the fear and no matter how great the likelihood of the harm, but is one that, from appearances, must be instantly confronted and addressed. Now, we do not believe, the plaintiff, my client, does not believe that there was an imminent threat in this situation, seeing as the guns had been put away and Luca Carboni didn't even have a gun. There should have been a chase. There should have been something more than just getting shot down in the streets. An excessive use of force was used that day by Mr. Preacher, and he and the Los Santos Police Department should be held responsible, and my client deserves damages for such things.
What? Talk to me about damages. What are you claiming the damages are?
Well, the damages that we're looking for here is $250,000 punitive damages and $250,000 in pain and suffering.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Hench. Defense?
Thank you, Your Honor. Thank you. I will let it be known before I begin my opening statement that we still hold the fact that Mr. Carboni had a weapon in his hand. That is still a disputed fact, Your Honor. We do not agree with that, but I'll continue with my argument. Firstly, I would like to. We prepared two arguments for this defense. My first argument would be simply that criminal activity is known to be unforeseeable, and that creates a superseding and intervening circumstance which removes all liability from the police department, even if there were excessive use of force. The second argument that I have, Your Honor, is that this city, this wonderful city and state, recognizes Tennessee versus Gardner as case law, which under its definition, under the Fourth Amendment of the United States Constitution, a police officer may use deadly force to prevent the escape of a fleeing suspect only if the officer has a good faith belief that the suspect poses a significant threat of death or serious physical injury to the officer or others. Now, back to my first argument, I'd like to add the fact that when the gunfight did happen between the police officers and the other suspects, Mr. Carboni, he created an intervening and superseding charge by running into the line of fire, as well as, admittedly now by his counsel, being part of a house robbery and trespassing. Therefore, Your Honor, today...
Objection, Your Honor, that I did not say that. I said he trespassed.
Therefore, Your Honor, today we...
I understand. I know he said trespass, but arguments don't make evidence. Arguments are just that, arguments. Arguments are not taken into consideration, only the evidence that is presented at court, and Mr. Gills knows this, but I will hear it.
I was just finishing off, Your Honor. I was going to say, therefore...
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Yeah, of course. Therefore, today, with the evidence and testimony of the police officers, we will prove that the police department and Mr. Preacher and his individuality are not liable for supposedly excessive use of force. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Gill. Mr. Hench, who's
Stop.
your first witness?
Who the fuck did that?
We will call Officer Preacher to the stand.
It was the
Mr.
burger
Preacher.
shop guy.
Oh, it wasn't.
I smile.
Oh my god.
Uh,
I'm so sorry.
Oh, she's beating
Your-
him.
Your Honor, before he goes
Sit
up
in
there,
the witness box.
could both attorneys
Yo, me
approach the bench,
personally-
please?
Oh, yes, please.
Hold on, sir. 1 second, please. While they approach the bench.
All right, sweetheart, you gotta take this down.
Okay. I forgive you.
Just gonna stand in front of the doors. They get the door open. I'll just go over there and check them.
Were we allowed to bring our own chairs? Yo,
Wrong arm.
good burger shot.
Gonna. You're just gonna let him do that?
All right, no controversy here. Let's go.
This popcorn making me sweat. Spicy.
All right,
All
Mr.
right,
Preacher.
Mr. Preacher, state your name for the court, please.
That'd be Thomas Preacher.
All right, go ahead and raise your right hand. Do you promise to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you regular God and leprechaun God?
I do.
All right, thank you.
Why is it so quiet?
I'm fine with standing. Thank you.
Alright, dude.
We can't hear you back here, Mr. Hinch.
Yeah, I'm just drinking water here. Don't worry.
Take your time drinking. That water bottle's not going anywhere.
Appreciate that. Thank you. All right. Officer Preacher, I appreciate you taking a stand here. Can you give us a recollection of the events that happened on the day in question?
Got a 31 Bravo, which is a house alarm.
Hate that cop so much with passion.
Arrived on scene to Mr. Polo Ferrelli. We further investigated, at which point Mr. Luca Carboni came out of the house.
Dude, quit it, dude. That's nasty.
He refused to acknowledge detainment. Weapons
Yeah,
were
I'm heading
drawn.
into court next.
Shootout. And here we are.
Okay, all right. Now, your statement's the longer one that we received, right? Is that correct?
That is correct.
Is there a reason why you're not elaborating as much as when you did in your statement here today?
Yo,
You asked me for a rough estimate. I give you a rough estimate.
Oh no, I said recollection.
A recollection. Yes, that's
yes,
what I gave
you know,
you.
the details here today, Mr. Preacher, are pretty dang important.
Oh,
okay?
bro, stop.
So, you
Quit
said you
kissing
get
me.
there for 31 Bravo, is what you said.
Correct.
Now, when he came outside, let's go from there. When he comes outside, what happens?
Officers went inside the house at the same time that he exited. I believe that to be a radio transition that he got from Mr. Polo. Mr. Polo was on the radio as soon as the officers went in, shouting loudly. At that point, Luca came out. I immediately radioed the officers that he did exit the building as soon as they entered. They proceeded afterwards. At that time, Mr. Luca had a gun on his persons.
And then,
What else?
and then what happened with that gun there?
We asked for him. We looked Mr. Luca up. We saw he didn't have a weapons license. He advised us that he had shot an individual inside the building with a bat. At that point, we told him we would need to detain him. He continued to refuse detainment, said he would instead hand the weapon over to us so that we can investigate.
No.
At no point did I witness him handed the gun over? He still had the gun in his hand. The entire process that I saw.
Really?
That is
That's
correct.
actually really interesting to me that you say that, because in your statement you say this. Officers asked him to hand over his
Objection,
firearm
Your
to
Honor.
officers.
Hearsay.
The statement, I'm reading the statement.
Yo, that
Police
burping
reports are
shit,
hearsay.
cut it out.
Stop
Yeah,
that.
cut it out, bro.
That shit's
Who
enough,
wrote the
dude.
report?
Yeah,
He did.
cut it out.
Officer
The
Preacher
reports
wrote
are a
this
collection
report.
of statements, Your Honor.
You
They're
did
all
it
put in there
first.
by the initial
All
I
right.
report
don't give a
owner.
shit. Stop.
Hey, you should.
What's the incident number?
2456, Your Honor.
I can't hear that.
2456.
And you're reading from what part?
I'm reading from the third paragraph. It starts with questioning, but it's a little bit into that paragraph there. It says officers. Yeah, we're at the officers part.
Who wrote this statement? 252 responded. Who's 252?
That was me at the time, Your Honor.
This is
you
this is
wrote
the
this
narrative, Your Honor. This isn't this may not be his actual statement per se. This is the narrative that could have been written by any of the officers that input it.
Mr. Preacher, did you write this statement?
That is a narrative I provided to the arresting officer.
And who's the arresting officer?
I believe it's
He was the
number.
arresting
What's the
officer,
report
what?
number again? I can tell you, Your Honor.
2456, Preacher.
That would be. Oh, I guess I am the incident report writer.
Yeah, what?
Well, I guess that would be me, Your Honor.
Then it's not hearsay. You may proceed.
All right.
Okay.
You said this. Officers asked him to hand over his firearm, to which he initially pulled out the gun, but then waited before handing over the firearm to officers on scene.
Correct. It doesn't. I'm not stating that he handed the gun over. I said he waited before handing, which was at the point that the scene escalated to the point.
Well, hold on now. You
Yep.
say waited before handing over the firearm to officers on scene. So he handed the firearm over.
That is not what I was confirming. I stated that he waited before handing. So he sat there and made a judgment call at the time that looked to me that he did not intend to hand it over.
So why would you say handing over the firearm?
It's the choice of words. I could have easily put he hesitated, but I put that he waited to hand it.
Hesitated before handing it over. You're saying before that kind of proves there's it puts forward an action. You understand that, right?
Your Honor, I still
Negative.
object to this line of questioning. Like I said, anything contained in a police report is hearsay, and the only time it becomes admissible is if it's to offer anything other than the truth of the matter at hand.
But he wrote the thing. It's not
Right, but
somebody
he-
else. He admitted to writing this statement.
Yes, but Your Honor, in general, police reports are inadmissible because they contain, like, it's not just a segment of the document; it's an entire document that contains hearsay.
He's not going into the details of the statement made by another officer. It's his own statement. If it was somebody, if he was reading out something put down by another officer, then it would be hearsay for me. But something he wrote himself, it's not hearsay.
All right, Your Honor.
Right. So as I was saying, I was just confirming that he waited before handing, which I was inclining that he was not handing it over. He was waiting to see how the situation unfolded.
But you say before handing over the firearm to officers on scene. That's saying that
The key word there is waiting, Mr. Hinch. I don't know how I can make it more clarified for you that I stated that he waited before handing. So he was waiting to hand it
so
over.
when
He
did
did
they
not.
hand it?
I did not see it handed over.
I mean, that's
I
in
don't know.
direct
That's the
contradiction
truth
of what you
of
wrote. That
it.
doesn't
Is
make
not
any
a
sense.
contradiction. You were reading it one way. I'm explaining it to you how the intention of it was written.
Let's not argue. Questions and answers, please.
So you're stating that he never handed the weapon over.
I never saw a weapon being handed over. No.
Did you hear of any weapon being handed over?
As far as I know, myself and other officers still saw the gun in his hand. I cannot attest for what any other officer may have said or heard.
Okay, so you're gonna stick with that that waited before handing over the firearm to officers on scene means he just never handed it over.
Correct. He
Objection,
waited.
Your Honor, asked and answered.
Yeah, so you already answered this.
Alrighty. All right. So if you could, I'm just gonna hand you over here. Evidence 6097. Okay, you'll see it in the docket right there. Now, based on this picture here, okay, I want you to paint the scene for me. When maybe when you rolled up, and then when the shooting began, things of that nature. So what walk me through again, just for a visual experiment here. For 6097, you see it?
I'm looking at it. It's just a scene of gunshots.
There's the
Of gun
officer
shells.
standing there, and then there's the. You see that there?
Yeah, I see the officer standing there
Perfect.
investigating
Okay.
the scene. Yes.
So where were you when you, I guess, arrived on scene? Where were you standing?
I would be farther off to the left of this scene.
Okay. All right. So when you got to the point of where the shooting started to happen, okay, where were you standing?
Again, further to the left, more in front of the house.
Were you closer to the buildings on the left?
The building that you see in front of you where the white car is, that's the house in question.
Okay.
To the left of that, mid-street is where it was.
Okay. And then when you saw Lede and Luca, before they got on the bike, what was going on?
Mr. Luca was where. Go ahead.
Or do
Your
you?
question?
They got on the bike, correct?
Miss Letty pulled up on the bike, and she was asked several times to leave the area.
Okay. You know what? Let's go back one more time, because it seems as if we're kind of skipping over some details here. Okay. So let's go back. We'll look at this picture in a second, but let's go back to where Luca came out of the house, and you did not see him hand over a weapon. What conspired after that?
We continued to ask him to stop. We announced that we still saw a weapon in his hands. Mr. Luca refused to detainment again. That's the point where it escalated to him attempting to get into Mr. Polo's car to flee the scene.
Okay. What happened after that?
Put spike strips down to deploy, prevent the scene escalation, as at this point he had admitted to using his weapon against a homeowner, so he was a danger. So we deployed spike strips. As soon as the car was disabled, they both got out, and the scene continued to escalate.
Okay. Is there you felt you needed to stop them before they proceeded on?
Correct. As I stated, he admitted that he shot someone inside the house with a weapon that is not registered or licensed to him.
Okay. All right. And you didn't did you get to look at the weapon that was not registered to him or licensed to him?
I did not, again, because as he was never, as far to my knowledge, was never handed over to us.
Okay. So then you deploy spike strips to stop them from leaving. So then what goes on right after that?
Mr. Polo, who initially agitated the scene, got out of his car, began yelling obscenities, at which point Miss Letty approached, I believe, Trooper Marlowe's car with a weapon drawn at officers, followed by Mr. Polo himself.
Okay. And then what conspired next?
We gave multiple lawful orders to put the guns away. That's when suspects continued to keep the guns out, refused to put them away, and then transitioned to them. Mr. Letty and Luca. Letty was on the bike at this time with the gun still pointed. They got on the bike, and due to the danger of the situation and the escalation of the situation, there was a shootout occurred.
Okay, you're saying that Letty had her gun out on the bike pointed.
That is correct.
Okay. Let me just reference your statement here. Let me find the right paragraph for a second. Okay, so you said, yeah, refusing to abide by the demands given, officers took the necessary precautions to which gunfire began exchange. Mrs. Farrelly was disabled from her bike. So was she ran to her bike?
As I just stated, she was on her bike with the gun pointed.
Was she ever off the bike?
Yes, initially when she
What?
first pulled the gun,
And then she got on the bike. And
with
then
the gun
immediately
still
followed.
pointed.
Okay. And then Mrs. Farrelly was shot off the bike after that.
Correct. During
What
the
happened to
exchange.
Mr. Luca next?
Mr. Luca was still seen running around the middle of the scene on his radio. At one point, we heard call outs. I myself heard a call out to officer positions. He was communicating with Mr. Polo, who was up the street. At which point, 3 officers went down on the radio.
So Mr. Polo was up the street.
So
Letty
much
was on the
BS.
bike.
This guy's such
Where
a B.
was
like he's
where was
lying,
Luca
Letty.
standing?
He is lying.
Direct
He said I
center
was
of
on
the
my
scene
bike with
did
my
not
gun at
attempt to
him. He's
flee for
lying
his
so
own
hard right now.
safety
I knew
or
it. You know what?
proceed to go
Almost everything
undercover
that he has said so
to
far is
prevent getting struck
bullshit.
by
You know what,
any bullet.
Summer? You know what he
So
said?
then-
He's
then
like, I can't wait for you to.
Polo,
You
opened
know
up
what he said? I can't wait
fire
for you to
after
take
he
it to
saw them
court
get
so you
shot.
can lose and I can laugh at your face for taking the L.
I can't confirm
That's what
who
he
shot
told me.
first. I just know
He's a
that
liar.
Letty went down during the
Mhm.
process and
That's why his
Polo was
teeth are
shooting as
missing.
well.
Because he tells lies.
Well, you say he was on the hill.
His teeth.
Correct.
No.
Was
it's
it
'cause he
shooting
tells
from that
lies.
hill or
That's why.
Shooting before and up the hill. Yes.
before and up the hill? Like he was going up the hill or he was coming down the
Yeah,
hill?
chill.
Like where he started off next to his white car and then up the hill as well.
And then he
It's just
went
your
up.
tiny leg.
Okay.
Correct.
And in your statement, you say that, and you're saying that Luca got shot down in the
What did I
crossfire.
I knew that guy
post?
was lying.
Luca was
Fucking knew
dead
it.
center in the center.
It's
Yes.
so bad. Look at the photo he posted.
So
Two
yeah,
minutes ago,
so
whatever.
bad.
yeah, that's fine.
Oh no.
So let's go ahead and
Why is
reference
it so pixelated?
evidence 6097.
Looks like a
again.
Minecraft fucking.
6097. All right. 1 second. All right. I got it.
Freaking
Hold
dead.
up.
So Mr. Farrelly was dead center in the scene, probably closer to that bike there. Yeah.
There's no bike in this picture.
Sorry, you can see the tailpipe.
Oh,
of
the
bike on
tailpipe,
top.
no.
Yeah, sorry, it's kind of hard to see.
He was more if you were to treat the officer and the vehicles and the bicycle as an arena, he was running around that in a circular fashion.
So by
Guys'
the
monotone
like
lies
line, those
are
yellow
so
lines
Yo,
right there.
I was all the way up the street
Uh,
at Burger
Luca-
Shot.
Probably a
Luca
little
had
bit
his
closer to
hands
the
up,
officer,
running
not so
around with
much
his hands up
closer
saying
to the
don't
sidewalk.
shoot, and they shot him down
Yeah, not so
with no
close to the
gun,
sidewalk.
no gun on him at
Correct.
all.
So
No.
how would you determine that to be
officer is
crossfire
that?
with Polo Farrelly?
There was additional people on the scene. There was a tailgater Brown that pulled
He
in
is,
with an
but-
additional suspect that had a Class 2 rifle firing at officers.
And
Class 2
at what
rifle?
point did that happen?
That was during the exchange. He pulled up almost immediately after Letty, just at a further distance.
And was Luca already when did Luca get down then?
During the crossfire with the additional suspect and Mr. Polo.
Hmm.
Okay. Let me just reference your statement for a second. Okay, so the tailgater was off, based on the photo, was kind of where the bike was pointed, yeah? Kind of on that little like hump over there.
Yeah, on the bridge. Yep.
Yeah.
But I don't want to miss any
Okay.
pies.
And so they pull up. Maybe how quick before they start shooting is Luca down?
I'd say they probably were shooting. I'd say estimated after Letty went down, so Luca was still up at the time of their shoot.
Okay. So where would the crossfire hit Luca then from, you think?
The officers that were initially trading with Polo, as well as myself and the additional tailgater, as I
How was
said,
that
Mr. Luca was
crossfire
running
to where
around
you were up to
sporadically
the
in a
left,
circular motion
and then he was up to the
between
right?
gunshot.
That's not even crossfire.
That's because they're
Oh,
stormtroopers.
Yes.
And so,
I can
what-
curve my
which-
bullets, I don't
which
know what you mean.
side do you think he could have been hit by crossfire? Because if you were still over kind of closer to the house in question, or the house that you guys
At the
responded
time,
to, sorry.
no, I had readjusted.
Apparently,
my
the
cover, so
safest place to
I had
be when
moved
officers are
the
shooting is right
construction,
at the
so I had
center
more
of
of
their
an angle.
crosshairs.
If we use that picture as a reference
Yeah,
again,
get it? Crossfire. Duh.
Yeah, so you were closer to the
I'd
construction site. That's right. Right. You know, it's not in
correct.
the picture, but yeah.
I'd be more like toward the side that the black car that's on the edge of the picture is on the.
Okay, all right. And then you were firing over at that man once, because I'm having a hard time seeing where. So it wouldn't have come from you, the crossfire, then probably.
I'm one of the officers that struck Mr. Luca. Again, I still saw a weapon in his hands, and at that time he was on the radio while Mr. Luca was Mr.
Did
Polo
he
was
just say that he
exchanging
had
fire.
a weapon in his hand?
Yeah.
Are you serious? He
Uh,
literally had his hands up
Is there a
running in
reason why
circles.
you don't think you put that in your report
Didn't you
about
see
him
it?
having a weapon in his hand?
It's alright, yo. I got a really, really good memory of this.
I didn't
whole
feel
thing.
that I needed
Objection,
to.
Your Honor. Badger and the witness.
How is he badgering the witness?
Your Honor, his question obviously is questioned his integrity as an officer and his ability to write reports.
No, he
Is
asked
that
him
not
why he
relevant to
didn't
the
put it in the report.
case?
Yeah, is that not kind of what we're doing here? How he's not a good officer.
My objection still stands, Your Honor. I believe that by asking that question, he is trying to remove his.
Your objection is noted but denied. You can proceed, Mr. Hench.
All right. Well, let
Review
me
a
just go.
screen.
Do you
through
want me
this
to
for
answer
you.
the question first?
I'm just gonna. I'll paint it a little bit more for you here, and then I'll.
Are you gonna
present
are you
it
gonna
for
retard the? You're gonna rephrase?
Nah, you know what? Yeah, go ahead. Answer the question then. Go ahead.
I didn't feel it necessary because of the earlier statement where I felt where I stated that he waited before handing off his gun. I felt that implied that he still had the gun in his hand.
You think that implied from how long was this scene? Do you think from that point to the point where he got shot down?
The shooting from when
Over
that
my
implied
head.
not very long, within minutes.
Kidding.
10 minutes. Okay.
Yes.
And when he was down, maybe he was searched and everything. Did he have a weapon?
So what
on
they're
him?
saying is that some point between the time of when
Not
they
to
shot him
my
down
knowledge.
and
I
they cuffed
believe a
him, he
weapon was
handed off
found,
his
but due
weapon.
to the overconfidence of officers,
This is a court case.
it is unknown where that weapon ended up.
Because it doesn't look like into the report a picture of what they had in their pockets was really inserted, was it?
There's a lot of officers that go into the report. My name is on the report, but I'm not the sole contributor to it. I only started the incident so that officers could start dumping evidence and filling out their statements.
Okay, because let me go ahead and read this for you really quick. As Mr.
Like a
Fairley began,
GameCube.
sorry, let me go a little bit later there.
What part are you reading from?
Sorry, it's going to be the second part of the second, I guess, picture of his statement. It'll be in paragraph 3 and 4.
Sick
there,
picture,
okay?
Spirit.
As Mr. Farrelly began yelling about his car, himself and Mrs. Farrelly began pointing guns at officers, being given several loud verbal commands to put those guns away. Refusing to abide by the demands given, officers took the necessary precautions, to which gunfire began being exchanged. Mrs. Farrelly was disabled from her vehicle, while Mr. Farrelly continued to fire and strike multiple officers. Mr. Luca was spotted running around on scene with no attempt to flee for fear of his own safety. Would he have had to flee for fear of his own safety? I mean, would you have had to write that if he had a gun in his hand?
I'm a trained officer of the law. With gunshots going on, even I took cover. So I would expect Mr. Luca himself getting gunshots in the area to try to seek some cover of some sorts.
Okay.
He's lying.
all right. And he said, given call outs.
PD's the one who shot, dude. They literally gunned. I've watched Letty and Luca get gunned off her bike.
Polo, tell them how much.
During the crossfire, yes.
You did shoot down Mr.
No, you're gonna
Luca,
hear it when I testify.
remember?
Yeah, I want to hear it.
I was one of the
My
officers
ears are
that struck him,
open.
yes.
And here you say he was disabled in the
He's
crossfire.
literally saying so
but
much
now
BS.
you're
It's
He was
crazy.
talking out of his
he
ass,
was
dude.
Chased it the
shot
same
down because he
thing,
had a
and it was
weapon
my
in his
court
hand.
case, honestly.
During the crossfire
Really?
exchange between us and
Yeah.
the suspect.
Lied straight through his motherfucking teeth.
So
dude.
you shot down Luca
Did you win the
Farrelly.
court case or?
No.
Right
He
there.
lied
At
to
least
me.
he had a
Never shot,
weapon in
right
his
there?
hand.
No, I
on
never
the
shot
radio.
anyone.
No
Calling
That
out
was
all
GSR
the
negative.
users.
Yep, exactly. Only
That
person with a
crossfire
GSR
is
positive is
an
me.
event and hold as
And
far as like
David.
all the officers
Well,
and
Wow.
suspects
yeah, but he
exchanging
was after
crossfire.
me.
God, David.
Yeah, but I'm saying that they're.
Oh, you talking
You
shit
two were
about me?
GSR positive.
Yeah, I don't think he got caught though.
Okay.
I would never.
During the
Oh, you
altercation,
did. You're
Yeah,
right.
he
You're
did.
right. You're right. You're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
the brown tailgater began opening
killed like 7
fire.
cops and got down.
This
I was
spot
your
as well.
first.
So, hey, so
I'm joking.
I
I'm
guess
joking.
the next question I have for you is, hold on one moment here. Next question I have for you is,
Okay.
how was Mrs. Forelli?
Spicy.
So did she remain pointing her gun from the moment she got? She was going towards the bike, pointing the gun.
Joe, why you
on the
standing
bike,
up?
Pointed the entire time. I just want to make this very clear. She's on the bike, pointing at you.
He's tucking it in the waistband.
Before she got on the bike, had the gun pointed. Got on the bike,
Tuck
and
it
for
in.
obvious reasons, she had to repoint the gun.
Okay.
Wow,
Was
didn't
Luca
even have it.
Carboni
That's
pointing his
such a
gun at you?
She was blocked from my vision. All I knew is he still had the gun on him.
Blocked from my vision, so he didn't even see you then.
He was blocking
He
your
was
vision
literally
until
the
you
first
shot
one to
him.
shoot.
He was
That
literally the
cop
Correct.
was
person
At
literally
there,
standing
the first
once he
one.
directly
was
in front of
removed
her.
from the vehicle,
Sounds
he
like
was not shot
corruption
off
to
the
me.
bike.
And was he pointing his gun at you when you shot him down?
The gun was pointed. The gun
Poor
was.
Luca. They're
He
just
was looking
talking
in the
about Liddy
direction
and
of
Polo. They're not even
officers.
talking about
I did not
why is he
see
on trial?
the
Because
gun
Luca
technically
was
pointed.
the one who had
However,
no gun,
like I
hands
stated,
up,
he
running around in
was giving
circles,
radio
not
callouts,
even talking
and
on the radio.
which
What
were
time of day was
And
this?
they gunned
Corruption.
him and Letty down.
mid-afternoon at best. I think. I can't
Yes.
recall exactly. I know it
That's
was
a little
plenty of
while ago,
daylight.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Letty, you should be seeing him too.
And was there any GSR found on
What
Mrs.
happened?
Forelli?
I said you should honestly be seeing him too.
I did not handle Mr. Farrell,
should.
Mrs. Farrell.
Objection, Your Honor.
Double-
Relevance.
Double jeopardy.
I'm trying to paint and see if there was an imminent danger from Mrs. Forelli if she
Do you
was
see the
shooting at
lady up
officers.
front for the judge?
It's
on the
already
right?
been
Point.
established that they were shooting at officers, Your Honor. It's
It
still,
has
it's,
not been established if Mrs.
She's
Forelli was
recording
shooting at
everything.
officers or not.
yes, it has, Your
I'm
Honor.
gonna allow
It's
this
part of-
question.
I'm dead.
I want to know.
Was she GSR positive?
Again, I didn't handle her arrest. I can't tell you. I could look at the report and tell you based off the report.
Object. He's lying.
Not to my knowledge.
She was not. She was not GSR positive.
Exactly.
Again, not
They,
to my
they
knowledge.
do know they're like pretty much whispering, right?
Okay, I just want to be clear. Does that mean GSR negative, or you just don't know?
Objection, Your Honor. Asked and answered.
Speak up.
He didn't answer. It was.
He did, Your Honor.
He said
Oh,
to,
he's.
to his knowledge.
He said not to his knowledge. That isn't
Not to
an
my
answer.
knowledge was.
That
Does
could be
that-
GSR negative.
Does
That's
that
an
mean
answer
you
to
don't
this
know? Does
question.
that mean you don't know if they did a test on it, or
Correct.
does that mean?
I do not know if a GSR test was performed on Mrs. Farrell.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you for that. My last question here is, why was the plaintiff only charged with trespassing?
That was because initially, we were there again for the trespassing, the house alarm charge, attempted robbery, potential. I believe the situation entirely would have went a different route had Mr. Polo and Miss Letty not escalated the situation. I did not see fit to charge Mr. Luca as aggressively, due to he wasn't as aggressive as those two.
Would you say he wasn't as threatening as those two?
I wouldn't take that away from him for the fact that he did tell us he assaulted with a weapon, the homeowner,
Defended himself.
in a house that he was illegally in. Yes.
Okay. So he was only charged with trespassing, not possession of a class 1 firearm, correct?
Correct.
Is that common that you don't charge somebody with that if they have it?
In some cases, such as robbery of a financial institution, we tend to allow those charges to be included in the primary charge.
But this one's just trespassing, right? So normally you would add that in, or no?
Depends case by basis. Again, I didn't feel like it would have escalated past trespassing had it not been escalated by the two Forellis.
Do you feel like spike stripping a car instead of chasing it is escalating it in that
Objection,
situation?
Your Honor, calls for speculation.
Sustained.
That'll be my final question now.
Thank you, Mr. Hench.
Had a quick
Hello,
word.
Mr.
Let's
Hamill.
listen as we're talking here. How we feeling?
I'm so sorry, Mr. Preacher.
How you doing, dear?
I think we're doing
Sorry,
good so far.
a lot of cases, a lot of different officers. I'm doing well. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you for asking.
So during the obviously a
Yeah,
lot of
that's a blatant
information was
lie. It's a
established
plain
with Mr. Hench asking
He's
your question.
perjured
So
himself.
I'm gonna go ahead and skip to the part where the shootout
It
happened.
doesn't make sense. You nailed that.
During the shootout, at any time, were you in fear for your life?
Oh yes.
I gotta dip on.
Okay.
Care some stuff.
And was it deemed at that
Need to
time
come
by
do
you
what?
and your officers that
I gotta
lethal
take care of some
force was
stuff.
necessary?
Yes.
Need any
Do you,
help?
do you want to go unlock your car for
And
me real
all
quick?
officers who
Yeah.
participated during this scene used lethal
Oh my
force.
God.
Correct.
Where are they going?
And when you were in your, as you described it, crossfire with the Forellis, did Mr. Luca run into the line of fire?
He stayed in the line of fire and he ran continuously around it. Yes.
So he didn't run away. He decided to run
line of fire.
around inside of the line of fire.
Correct.
Oh shit! Holy shit!
Do you know what type of weaponry was used by the suspects during this crossfire?
To my recollection, Mr. Luca and Polo and Letty all had Class 1 firearms. The suspect in the brown tailgater had a Class 2.
And what is a Class 1 firearm?
Would be your standard purchase at ammunition, anywhere from high-powered Brownie to a Diamondback D9.
And what is a Class 2 firearm?
That would be automatic weaponry, anything from like an assault rifle, Uzis, Tech 9s.
Okay. And so, upon your decision to use lethal force, you evaluated the situation as being one that required lethal force, including the totality of the circumstances, everything that went on. You believed it was correct to use lethal force.
Yes, as I stated, they had weapons drawn at officers. Mr. Luca himself had already admitted to shooting someone, whether it was defense or not, and they had disregarded several commands by officers to put weapons away.
All right. So you did make it known that they needed to put their weaponry away.
Yes, myself and several officers stated it multiple times.
All right, thank you. That's all the questions I have for you, Mr. Preacher.
Thank you, Mr. Gill. Who's your next? You may step down, Mr. Preacher. Thank you. Who's your next witness, Mr. Hench?
We'd like to call Polo Forelli to the stand.
Mr. Forelli.
Woo, yeah, Polo.
Also,
It's my dad.
It's my dad.
Spirit's crying outside and he said he wants to see you.
Let him
Bailiff.
cry.
You have to go see him. He's really upset.
Bailiff, we can't hear you.
Yeah, you're not talking.
Bailiff, we can't hear you.
Mr. Forelli, will you state
There
your
you
name
go.
for the court?
Polo Forelli.
Polo Pirelli.
All right. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? So help you God and let you
Polo
God.
Forelli.
I do.
Polo Pirelli.
I don't stink. I smell
You may
like
proceed,
flowers.
Mr. Hench.
All right. Hello, Mr. Forelli. My first question for you is, can you give us a recollection of the events that happened on the day in question?
I can.
Objection, Your Honor. Narrative.
He hasn't said anything yet. He said he can.
The question calls for narrative, Your Honor. We already have the exact events that
Goodness,
happened.
Spirit, he's crying for you outside.
Not from.
We haven't heard from Mr. Farrelly yet.
But it still calls for narrative, Your Honor, which is an objection recognized by every court in the United States of America.
Ask him specific questions, Hench. Let's move it along.
Well,
This lawyer is kind of a douchebag. Just gonna throw that out there.
so when I guess once Luca. had
Narrative
come
has
to that
already
house,
been established by a cop.
what
We
did
don't
you
need
see
anybody
that
else's point of view.
Luca had gotten pulled to the side
I
by
don't-
2 officers.
I don't. This DA's.
They were
terrible.
having a
Whoever that fucking
conversation, and I
guy
was
is.
sitting in my car. Preacher was telling me to get out of there.
Mola guy's throwing.
So I, sitting in my car, getting ready to leave. Luca hands over his stuff to the cops, and he comes to my car, and he goes to get in because Preacher's telling me to get out. So we go to leave, and he spike strips my car. It wasn't even on yet. The car wasn't even on yet. So I got out of the car, and at that point, I had ran around the corner, in which Luca got away
corner,
from the
you mean
car.
that hill
Like,
going
yeah, like the
toward
hill.
Burger
Like I
Shot?
ran up towards Burger Shot. I ran up towards Burger Shot to get out of the area because that's what he had told me to do. In that
This
case,
trial is
that's when
sponsored by Burger
Luca
Shot.
had put his hands up, ran across the street, got on the bike with Letty. At that point, I literally watched both of them just get gunned down. And at that point, that's when I pulled my weapon and I was up on the hill
Yeah, that's right.
by Burger Shot, like way up by
How's
Burger
it
Shot.
there, Letty?
And that's
So
when
when
things.
you saw Luca, he had his hands up.
Oh, he was running in circles in the middle of the intersection down there with his hands up, literally just running in circles.
Summer, how much are you paying Polo every single time he sees a Burger Shot?
Oh my
but he
god,
ran
at
to the
least
bike, he got on the
$100.
Letty had gotten on the bike first. Luca was going to get on the back of it, but Letty had gotten shot and off the bike. And as she got shot and off the bike fell over. He got up, put his hands up, and just started running in circles in the middle of the road. And then I watched him get shot down. And then when that happened is when I then decided to return fire because I was getting shot at next.
It was really a heartbreaker. Zach.
And so
Screw Zach.
My boyfriend.
now, in your knowledge,
guys
with your
finally
knowledge,
break
did
up?
Luca have a weapon on him, like
No.
multiple weapons or
You
anything?
deserve better, Summer.
Absolutely not.
We raced yesterday, and
I heard the officers to the right. They were standing by the car and asked him to hand it over. I
Have you
then
met
watched him
Ricky
hand
yet,
it over.
Summer?
Letty,
What,
I
Lee?
mean, just to be
you
clear,
can put me on.
now.
No, this Ricky right
And
here.
if you don't have
pretty sure
the
you
She means me.
docket there, I just want to look at evidence.
He's really nice. I should like
6097.
talk to him.
No
You just
fucking way.
show us kind of where you were. Okay?
It's Zach or no one. Zach or I'm a
What?
fucking celibate.
I'm
bro.
trying to find it. Give me 1 second.
What the?
Yep.
Ain't no way he has that much on you.
I could send it
Yeah, it
over to
is.
you if you need.
How you gonna let a guy
Ooh.
have that much hold on you?
Hey, Letty.
Yeah, if you want to do that,
Trust me,
that's
Ricky
great.
can hold so much more than Zach can.
Never mind, I got it.
Letty,
I
I
have
think
it.
I think
see it.
she's dick whipped.
Me, I was up by that other Blaine
might come in
County
handy.
sheriff car, the one up the hill. I was behind that originally, and after I had dropped the two or three officers
Nice
behind the
deal.
blue
Oh,
can, I
that's
had ran
okay.
forward to go check on Luca and Letty down in the middle of
blue
the street.
can, like the trash can.
Yeah, the blue trash bin up there. I had ran past that to head towards the middle of the intersection, kind of where that deputy's standing right there. I went to go check on Letty and Luca,
And Luca was
and that's
already
what.
down at that
Oh yeah,
point.
they were already down. They were both down.
So
Only sitting here 'cause I have
did
to
you
talk to
see
the
them
judge
both
after.
down before you?
Oh yeah,
started
before I even
shooting?
shot, they were both down. I watched them both get blasted. And then I started getting shot at while I was running away. So I then pulled out my weapon and returned fire.
I'm gonna stand fused. I love that watermark at the
I literally
bottom
didn't draw a
left,
weapon
though.
up until I got shot at.
He did not just.
And so do you feel like Luca could have been hit in a crossfire? In any
Oh,
way, shape,
absolutely
or form?
not. Because from where I was standing, he was up to my left.
Oh my god. I need to
He
close
was
my
literally
eyes.
in the middle of that intersection. I was getting shot by people by the blue dumpster there, that blue dumpster in that photo. The direction that they got shot from is kind of like the white house that's on the corner, the house in question. They got shot from whoever was standing in the middle of the street there by the police car. That's who shot Luca and Letty. I watched the bullets leave their guns. I was literally up the hill.
Okay.
Like the worst picture I've ever seen.
Alrighty. No further questions.
Thank you, Mr. Hench. Mr. Gill.
Hello, Mr. Farrelly.
Damn, Hank
How you
must sound
doing?
So happy.
I'm
today.
doing well. How are you?
I'm great.
There's just a few things I want to clarify here.
So,
Originally, when you were on scene, and is it true that you
This order needs
drew
to be louder, I
firearms
can't
upon
hear.
officers?
No.
hey, where'd David go?
All right.
Speak up.
Is it true that your spouse, Miss Farrelly, drew firearms upon an officer?
Yes, it is true.
God damn it.
And were
okay.
you in the vehicle with
It's
Mr.
okay.
Carboni when the spike strips were deployed?
No, he was
Shoot,
not in
I
the
gave you
vehicle.
three of
He
my
was standing at
coffees.
my
Can I
door.
get one?
Whoa.
Oh my god.
Goodness.
What was that?
No way.
Were you disabled by the police
He's dead.
during
He's
these
freaking
said
dead.
events, Mr. Farrelly?
Oh, absolutely.
Sorry, lady. Oh, you got there.
Well, that's probably fireworks. Don't worry about it.
My
Yes,
car.
I was disabled. Because
My
like I
car
was saying
too,
in
on a
my
bike.
reference
Oh,
to
yeah,
him, when
yeah,
I
why?
ran past the blue trash can, I then got shot by what looked like
You need
to
something to
be
drink?
Preacher
Yes,
standing
please.
behind a red
Okay, good.
dumpster. But I'm not 100% sure because a bullet struck me and I had
Hell
fallen.
yeah.
All right.
Thank you.
Please open the doors for
No problem, brother.
these people. I can't.
Ah, bad.
And what were you driving that day, Mr.
I was
Farrelly?
driving my tailgater.
And is that the white
Yeah.
tailgater?
Yes, I believe it was white at the moment.
All right. A good color for sure.
Oh, absolutely.
Were you charged with anything at the end of this event, Mr. Farrelly?
Oh, absolutely was.
What were you charged with?
I don't recall to a T.
All right.
Please leave the doors open.
All of our cars and bikes are blown up. So stupid.
All right, that'll be all my questions.
He
Mr.
blew up
Farrelly.
our
Sorry, I can't
cars
pull
and our
up my other
bikes
questions, so what's
outside.
going on, but that'll be all the questions. I
He's
have
an
for you.
idiot. Oh my god.
Thank you. You may step down, Mr. Farrelly. Thank you for your testimony. Mr. Hench?
Yes, our next witness is Letty Farrelly.
Woo, go lady. Tell Hinch to talk louder.
Thank you.
Hello, RIP to your car.
It's okay.
Someone blew it up outside.
Miss Farrelly, please state your name for the court, please.
She's busy. She's on the stand right
Letty
now.
Farrelly.
Do you swear to tell the
What's up?
truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God and also God?
Fired.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Did you hand out those keys?
There's like 8 cars blown up outside.
Beautiful.
Why didn't you park your bike? You know? Oh, it's a garage.
Hello there, Miss
It's a
Farrelly.
garage,
Hope you're having a
yeah.
nice
Hello.
day today.
Shh, I can't hear you.
Thank you. You too.
So,
I think the bike.
I would like to know when you got on
Two bikes
scene.
were blown up
Could you
and
fill us
4
in on
cars.
that?
So I got on scene right after Polo and Luca were outside talking with the cops.
Okay, and you rode that bike up, yeah?
Yes, correct.
Okay. What did you see from there?
Just a lot of arguing, really, between the cops and Luca and Polo.
And had the car been spike stripped at that point?
Not yet. No.
Okay, so then where did they go? They went into the car, or where did they go?
Yeah, I started driving away on my bike because I saw that Luca and Polo got into the car, and then I heard on the radio that they spike stripped his car, so I came back on my bike.
Hey, tell
Okay,
him,
and then
Letty.
you ended up in the middle of that intersection there, like we see in the pictures.
Yeah, correct.
So, yeah, what happened after that?
After that, I went behind one of the cars in the middle of the intersection. And I pulled out my gun and pointed it at the officers. And then one of the officers told me to put away my gun. So I put it away and ran back to my bike. As soon as I got my bike and started it, that's when I got shot down.
Okay, so you got on your bike, and were you pointing the gun at the officer at that point?
No. No, I wasn't. I was turning on the engine and ready to drive off.
And Luca, I mean, it might be tough to remember some of the details here, but had Luca gotten onto the bike?
Yeah, he got onto the bike, and then I got shot down, and he got off of it, and then he ran to the the middle of the intersection. He started running in circles with his hands up, and then they shot him down.
And okay, so then you got shot. When were you down? Shot down. And thank God you're okay here.
Sorry, can you repeat that?
When were you? I guess so. You were shot down, and then he was running around with his hands up or something. Oh, what happened?
Yeah. So I got shot
Yeah,
down,
he blew that
and
up,
then
and
Luca
Unicorn
ran
is gonna
a
have
little
fired.
more into the intersection, and he started running in circles with his hands up, and then he got shot down.
Okay. All right. I know some of those details might get a little fuzzy there, but
from over here.
the main thing I want to know is
But your
you
breath
did
don't
not
matter
point a
if you wash
weapon
your
at the
fucking hands.
officers while you were on that bike.
No, I did not.
I can't tell. Smells like you ate beef jerky.
Now,
like
based on the
16
evidence
hours ago.
6097, I don't know if you can see the docket there.
Let
If
me
not, I can shoot you over that photo.
Wait, actually, that's so sad.
He said 6097.
I'll make you beef jerky.
Yeah, 6097.
Okay, I see it.
Just
Yep.
thinking about it, I'm salivating.
You were just on the bike there, and that's kind of where you started when the shots got fired, and that's where you went.
That's
You went
salivating.
down.
That's salivating.
Is that true? Sorry, the bike, you can kind of see the tailpipe of it on the right side of the photo. Sorry.
Yeah, kind of where the deputy was. Right there in that photo, around that area. That's where I was on my bike.
Yeah, because the bike is behind that car to the right there. So that's kind of where it was when
Yeah.
All right. And did you see Luca? Did he have a gun in his hand at all during this whole entire time?
Nope, never. Even when I arrived, he did not have a gun on him or out.
Okay, so you never saw a gun in his hand at all.
I never saw a gun in his hand.
Now, he got, well, I guess he got shot down after you, so I won't ask you too much about that.
Yeah, it was like seconds after me.
And you never shot at any officers?
Nope, I never shot, and I was GSR negative. I'm not sure what other Yeah, they tested me, and they left a note on me, as well as others that were GSR positive and GSR negative, and Luke and I came back GSR negative.
Okay. All right. No further questions.
Thank you, Mr. Hench.
Do you want to ask Luca anything or no? You wanna take Luca? It's up to you.
Hello, Miss Fraley.
Hello.
I mean, I can if you want me to.
How are
I
you
feel
doing?
like you're nailing it so far.
I'm good. How are you?
Doing good. I got a couple quick questions for you. First one,
Yeah, sure.
being that when you arrived on your motorcycle, and you got off,
And
what did you do?
said so far he's
I just want to go listen in on what they're
There's
speaking
no
about.
evidence that they shared that he had a gun on him.
And what made you show up to this event?
Absolutely.
Well, I heard over the radio that there was something going down with the house robbery. and so I wouldn't go show up.
Yeah, he will be.
I was
So the-
already in the area, and so I ended up coming.
So there was a house robbery, all right. And secondly, once the bullets started flying, did you participate in the shooting?
Mm-mm. Prior to the bullets being shot, I did point my gun at the officers. And they told me to put it away. I did, and I ran back to my bike, started the engine, and got shot down.
Just call over to me or something. Just a quick recess.
All right, and because it's submitted into evidence, I'm allowed to ask this.
Waiting to call any objections, if that makes sense.
You're saying
feel free to do
that you did not shoot any officers or have your gun out or anything?
I didn't shoot any officers. I did have my gun out at one point, but then put it away when I went back to my bike.
All right, thank you. That's all I have for you.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Gill. Miss Forelli, thank you for your testimony. You may step down. Mr. Hench?
We'd like to call our last witness, Luca Farelli, to the stand.
Thank you, Mr.
Carboni.
Carboni.
Sorry, not Farelli. Carboni. Sorry.
Mr. Carboni, will you read your name for out loud, full name for the court, please?
Luca Carboni.
All right. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God and Leprechaun God?
I do.
All right, thank you.
Okay, Mr. Carboni, when you got out of the
Yeah, they didn't even know what to do.
The house,
yeah,
those two officers approached you. What happened?
So when I left the house, Mr. Preacher was confronting with Polo and the cadet.
One real quick, Preacher, you recognize him as over here or where? Where is he?
Yeah, Preacher's the white-haired one.
The white-haired one, okay. With the
Yep.
glasses?
Yep.
Okay, perfect.
And then I spoke to the cadet, which is the one on the right there.
Okay.
And he was just asking what was going on, and I told him that I, defended myself with my weapon and asked if I had a license. And then I offered to give over the weapon, and then he asked, and then I handed it over from there.
Excuse me a moment, Carboni.
Yep.
Sorry, Hench.
Oh, that's
Roman,
fine, Joe.
do you need a quick recess for Mr. Gill? I saw he ran away.
No, Your Honor. Unfortunately, Mr. Gill has a medical emergency he has to go attend to, so I'll be handling for the remainder of this.
Okay, is there an objection, Mr. Hench, to Mr. Roman finishing it off?
No objection.
Okay, you're good, Roman?
Yep, all good. Thank you, Your Honor.
All right. Continue. Excuses.
You get some food.
Okay, would you like me to repeat what I said?
Yes, if he could, yeah.
So once I left the house, Officer Preacher was talking to Polo over in between the front door of the house and where Polo parked the car in the driveway. And I was talking to, at the time, the cadet. And he was asking what was going on, and I told him that I was defending myself from the homeowner with the bat on the inside, and I had to use my weapon. He asked if I had a license, and I knew what was coming next, so I offered to hand my gun over to him, and when he asked, I handed over the gun. And that was pretty much my conversation with the cadet.
So you handed your gun over to the cadet there.
Yep.
Well, no longer cadet, but at the time.
Yeah, at the time.
Okay. And so at that point, did you have any other weapons on you?
No.
So no weapons at all. Okay. Then what happened next?
What happened next was Polo got into the car, and I started running over there to get into it too, because he was talking to me on the radio. And just as I was about to get into it, the car got spike stripped by Mr. Preacher.
Okay. Go on, keep going now.
And then after that, Letty showed up towards the middle of the intersection, kind of right in front of where the car was parked. And that's when I kind of went back towards the cadet, because like I didn't really know what was gonna go on. Letty got off her bike and pointed her gun at the officers from behind the car that was next to her, and that's when the officers drew their weapons, was telling her to like put her gun down, and she did so, went back to her bike. That's when I ran to her bike as well, and then just as we were about to leave, she got shot off the bike.
Okay, and then you did what?
Once she got shot off the bike, I was kind of left in the middle of the intersection there, and unfortunately, there's no cover in the middle of an intersection unless cars are going by. So I did my best to put my hands up and kind of just avoid bullets by running around.
What did you think that would signal to the officers? Anything at all?
Yeah, I mean, they already took my weapon, and by me having my hands up, I thought they would know that I just didn't pose a threat to them.
Okay. Alrighty. No further questions here.
Thank you, Mr. Hench. Mr. Roman.
Thanks for being here today, Mr. Carboni. I just have a few questions here. I don't want to take too much of the time.
Sure thing.
Do you recall which weapon you had on you at the time that you had given over to said cadet?
I don't, but if I had to guess, a Browning.
Understood. And when you say you handed it over to the cadet, do you see that cadet in the room right now?
Yes, it's the officer next to Mr. Preacher.
Just so the record shows here that Mr. Carboni here is pointing to the FTO Berjol. I just wanted to clarify that.
Noted.
And at the time, so Officer Preacher, and it seemed as from the incident report, I don't know if you had an opportunity to read it, but it said that once the crossfire began, there was a point where everyone took for cover. Now, was there a reason why you did not take cover?
Yes, because once Letty got shot, the bike fell over, and I was left just in the middle of the intersection. And there's not really that much cover from the middle of an intersection. There's no walls or dumpsters or anything like that, like Polo had or etc.
Understood. And if you are able to pull up the docket and pull up the pictures that your attorney, Mr. Hench, has been referencing?
Yep.
The 6097. You have that pulled up? Now,
yes,
you're referencing that is the layout of the vehicle as it is where you were when the bike fell over?
Can you repeat that? Sorry.
Yes, my apologies. The scene photo as
Yep.
it stands, is that where where Miss Letty's bike fell over?
From my memory, it was kind of towards that black car more, like between the car and the officer there that's standing, but yeah, somewhere around there, right where the officer's standing.
Yeah, approximately. Understood.
Yep.
All right. Yeah.
He has to
I
say
don't
for
have any further
himself.
questions, Your Honor. Thank you, Mr. Carboni. I appreciate your time.
Thank you, Roman. Mr. Hench,
Yes.
does the plaintiff rest?
Well, waiting for the closing statement, but in terms of
Yes,
witnesses,
but you
yes.
have to rest. So
Yeah,
Mr. Roman has a chance to present his side of the story.
Yep.
Are you
Perfect.
finished with your witnesses?
Yes, I'm finished my witnesses.
So you rest.
Yeah.
Okay. No more evidence from this plaintiff, so we're gonna hear from the defendant's side.
Hello.
Thank you, Your Honor. I'd like to call Officer Berjol to the stand, please.
Is that not the cadet?
Our hiring manager is currently on a vacation in Florida, so once he's back, he'll let you know.
Looks just like him.
Gotta listen
Okay.
to the song
Yeah, no
called
problem.
Nothing
Can
on
you
You.
state your name for the court?
Dominic Peugeot.
All right, Mr. Donnie Brasco, raise your right hand, please.
Huh?
Do you swear
Yes,
to
the same
tell
name.
the truth, whole truth, and nothing but
The
the
name
truth,
of the
so help
song's
God?
stupid.
I do.
All right, thank you.
I thought they pulled a fast one on us.
They did. Yeah, they did.
Thank you, Rusty. Thank you, Officer Berjol. For the record, could you please state your name and your rank, please?
Officer Dominic,
Yes.
Senior Officer Dominic Peugeot.
Thank you. And at the time of this
Well, we can still get
incident,
around it, though.
what was
Hold
your
on.
rank?
I was a regular officer.
He never wants to
Regular
give
officer,
the name of the
understood.
cadet.
Could
He
you
always
please
references
recount your
the he
events?
cadet in his
If it's
testimony.
something that has already been
He believes
stated,
he
you know,
looks
we've
like
been here
pointed
for
at
some
a
time, so I
cadet,
don't
but
want to
yeah,
draw this out too
never
much. If
said.
you could just highlight your specifics
So
that
we'll
you
use
recall
that as
from this event.
So if you have a chance to
Mr.
briefly call that out, okay?
Senior Officer Preacher back there responding to a house robbery. Myself and my cadet who I was training at the time, we responded to officer assistance, just with officer presence. Upon arriving, Officer Preacher was still dealing with it single-handedly. Like I said, we were just there to offer moral support.
Is he saying
to be honest,
that
both
cadet wasn't there
parties,
first?
Hold on.
the plaintiff and Mr. Preacher were antagonizing one another, raising their voices at each other, just making the situation more volatile than it had to be. While we were there, as the situation got more volatile, myself and my cadet did have to intervene and step in and separate the parties, of which the individual down there with the pink hair handed his firearm to my cadet, Ray Donovan.
Well, at least he's honest.
And because of a visual impairment, which was no one's fault, it did look like the individual was still brandishing a firearm, which badge number 916 Ray Donovan could testify that he did hand over his weapon. There were the female over there at the back of the courtroom. I'm not too good with names. She parked up down the street. I went over and spoke to her before the situation, before we had to intervene. Asked what she was doing. She just said she was hanging out, so I let her be. And then I believe it was Mr. Polo Ferrelli, who actually, let me correct myself. I think it was the female who was taking cover behind a vehicle and began pointing it at officers who were dealing with the individual with the pink hairs. The situation, tensions arose as we believed that he was brandishing the firearm, and so I believe that she thought that things were about to turn violent, of which they did due to the fact of her brandishing a firearm at us.
Mr. Roman, Mr. Hench, the court needs a 1 minute recess. I'm gonna.
Understood, Your Honor.
I'll be right back.
That cop is saying so much BS. The one with the white hair.
Yeah, we'll be all right. He just
Yeah, like so much
we'll be fine.
BS.
We're doing good. We're doing good.
Yeah.
One little slip
did
up
they
with
pay you?
with the cadet, but
You
we'll be
sitting up
okay.
here.
Well, the
Yeah,
officer
for what-
still told the truth.
For
I
what
can't
reason do you
whisper
need to?
down. I can't whisper while I'm saying it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He looks
Everything
just
he's
like
saying
the
is
cadet.
supporting our story.
Same hair.
Oh, you're fine. He just said the same thing we wanted the cadet to say anyway. So
Yeah, we just needed the cadet to admit that you handed him the firearm. That's
yeah, but I
literally
don't
the
know what
most
they're
important
talking
part.
about with a visual impairment. Or
Yeah, I don't know
something.
what that means. I mean,
I know
handed-
what he means by that.
I mean, I know what he means too, but
It's kind of.
It's
I
not-
think we need to call a sidebar with the judge on part of the state testimony.
Yeah, I agree. We'll probably do that, but I don't think that is at fault for somebody to be shot. It should be a compensation.
Yeah, but his
like,
hands are
do
up
you-
regardless.
Well, yeah, but do
Yeah.
you? But the question should have been, oh, do you have a weapon? Do you have a weapon? You understand? Versus,
Exactly. And they all witnessed him handing over the weapon.
He even wrote in his report that he handed the weapon and then tried to backtrack it.
he lied. He lied. Very lied.
Perjured himself on the stand.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
gonna
he
call that
did.
out. Yeah, I'm closing. So,
Okay.
alrighty.
Sounds good.
Hopefully, I
Let's
think
win
we're
this
doing all right.
thing.
Let's do it.
Thank
Let's
you,
win
Roy.
this thing.
Got this, Luca.
Yeah, Luke.
Let's go.
It's only taken over a month to happen. Here we go. Sidebar. Yeah. Go ahead and call that when.
What are you doing?
Let's go to
Stop.
Ladies and gentlemen,
No,
court's
not
back
in
in
court.
session.
Not in court.
Thank you.
Sorry about that. Let me continue.
Your Honor,
Yes.
we'd like to request a sidebar.
Roy Henshaw.
Hey, any of you motherfuckers named Sean?
Hey, this is a court of law. Have some respect, sir.
I'm just kidding. My name's Yusuf.
We can go through here. Oh, okay.
Let this seal
Oh
itself.
no, you can cross-examine.
How
if
much
you want.
the?
All right,
This is
Officer
fine.
Brazil,
If you'd
before
like
you
to, or you feel like we're
continue,
okay.
I have a
I
question.
feel like
Is this
we would
Riley?
honestly.
Alright.
Did you physically witness the gun that was on Mr. Carboni handed over to the said cadet?
No. I trust I trust
I
the
do a
officers
lot
that I
of
stand with when they tell me something. That yeah.
Check my warrant now.
Okay, so in this case, it is
I'm a
hearsay.
bad boy.
Understood.
Stop
Okay,
yelling,
Are
Teddy.
you satisfied with that, Your Honor?
Okay.
Yeah, you objected to your own. Okay.
I'm just
Go ahead.
being honest here. 'Cause
Okay,
I know the
okay, I
situation
got
was
it.
what
Don't worry
is.
about it.
Yep.
It's all good, Roman. Finish off.
All right, go ahead, Officer Brazil.
You gotta ask a question.
Oh, just to finish his finish his account. My apologies, Your Honor.
That was more or less the end of it before we went to the recess.
Okay. Yeah. No further questions, Your Honor.
Thank you, Roman. Mr. Hench?
Yeah,
Or
Pat Miller
Miller?
will be. Yeah.
Okay.
Good evening, Officer Paschal.
Good afternoon. Evening.
So I'm just looking for a little clarification. In the early part of your testimony here, you stated that there was a escalation of both sides that you felt like was unnecessary and you had to intervene. Can you elaborate on that?
The plaintiff were very hostile to officers who were
Objection,
on
Your
the
Honor.
scene.
Relevance to the case at hand.
What was the question, Miller?
I was asking him to elaborate on the early part of his testimony where he said him and his cadet had to intervene with Officer Preacher.
You're gonna speak up to me. I can't hear you very well. Sorry. We're asking him to elaborate on what?
To elaborate on his part of the testimony where he said he had to intervene between the plaintiff and Officer Preacher, I believe it's relevant in the case that this is about excessive force in general, so it paints the picture of the state of mind of the situation.
All right. I'll allow it.
Hi. So as we arrived on the scene, the plaintiff were very, very hostile to officers. Not sure why. That's something you'd have to ask them. I believe that Officer Preacher was just kind of reacting to how they were acting towards him. I don't think it was anything intentional. I don't think
They're not gonna talk about how Preacher got out the car with a
Officer
pistol
Preacher
aimed
went
at me,
out there
right?
to deliberately instigate like a firefighter accelerate, but I think the way both sides were getting irritated with one another, but the hostility certainly did start from the plaintiff, because of our presence at the scene, just from us trying to do our jobs.
Understood. So, due to the nature of the situation, both sides became very heated. Is that correct?
Yeah, I'm not gonna sit here and say that I'm the Pope or anything like that. I myself was getting irritated by some of the plaintiffs' attitude towards us. Just, we could have wrapped that up pretty quickly if we could have just got the facts and moved along. But attitude, how if they're gonna speak to us like not very nice, we are gonna react to that.
And as an officer of the state, do you feel like you have to stay above that at times, keep a mental awareness that is different from those on the street?
Of
the average
course,
citizen?
all officers are held to a higher standard than members of the public, but at the end of the day, we are still human. We all do have emotions, and sometimes they do get the better of us.
Absolutely. We appreciate your service. Outside of that, you mentioned in your testimony that you knew that the weapon was handed over. Why was it that you knew that the weapon was handed over?
So my cadet at the time, Ray Donovan, was speaking to the individual with the pink hair, and I was stood by the driveway to the house, and as I looked over to my cadet to check how he was doing, the individual with the pink hair did have a weapon in his hand in my eyes. As I went over to, try to de-escalate the situation, see what was going on, my cadet expressed to me that he had handed over the weapon. It was just a visual impairment on the sides of of those surrounding him.
All right, thank you. I have nothing else, Your Honor.
Thank you. You may step down. Give me a minute to review the evidence while you prepare your closing statements. Then we can close off and I'll give you my verdict.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Can I put your phone up? This is a courthouse.
Thanks, man. I got a quick question.
I don't even know what you just said. Was that English?
I'm okay, Conley.
What does
I'm
that
alright.
mean?
I gave you threw on the floor.
Yeah, I'm
what
better
that
now.
fucking means, bro.
Okay, good.
Watch my
Bella, do you need any food?
I'm good.
What does that
Thanks for
mean?
asking, Wisdom.
I need a dictionary.
And do you need any food?
Would you better point them out?
Oh, no. Good, thank you.
What about me?
How do you think that went?
That one good. I'm just trying to prepare my closing statement, figure out what I'm going to say.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure I hit the same things you were thinking on that.
That was perfect. He just said could have wrapped up things quickly if we got to the facts and moved on.
Exactly. Up, boys?
Hi, Pat. You killed it. Good job.
Yeah, I didn't really have to do much.
I can't believe he lied so openly.
I was waiting for you to follow up with the. So you're saying
Officer
that
Preacher.
as an officer of the law, you're unable to keep your cool in high-stress
Yeah,
situations?
yeah,
Is that what
I
you're
don't know
saying?
why.
In his statement,
No,
the cadet
I didn't.
admitted to
I
it,
wasn't
and
trying
he
to
just-
be
crazy,
that.
right?
Do you want to know what the best part about what he said
The
is?
judge is calling into his character and his conditioning at the police.
Yeah.
I think I saw a couple of
Would
people.
you
try
say
to
that
defend
a
The
key
best
component of
the
being an
best part
officer
about what
is
was
maintaining
the
the
best
skill
part
in
about what
high-stress
was just
situations?
said was the fact that he said that it was originally by the plaintiff,
Love it.
but I don't think they understand that that dude got out of his
That's okay,
car
I'm
with a
so
pistol aimed at
positive.
me,
I don't know what Gil's objections were about.
telling me
He
to
was
get
just
back in
going
the
all
car.
willy-nilly.
That made
He's just
no
really good
sense.
at that.
Hey,
Hey, he's really good at pulling shit out of his ass because he's had one goddamn objection that made any sense. At one point, he's missed like 5.
Oh my
The
god.
amount of fucking objections he could be calling for goddamn.
I'm not gonna lie, I was sitting here with a quick reference, common objections and responses cheat sheet,
Zesty.
and I never saw an
What does
opportunity
that
to
mean?
do it because it was pretty straightforward.
Honestly, you've been pretty solid. You guys haven't missed anything, but fucking that other guy has missed multiple.
Ready for closing
fucking-
Oh,
statement?
I was wanting to object on.
Yeah, there was. I think there was.
Oh, why is
Bye, Pat.
You pointed at one, didn't you, Jimmy? That
Yeah.
they could have done.
Almost there. Just
think
one
his
more
spine
minute here.
hurt.
I want to see Cross Kent in court.
Mm-hmm.
You will soon enough.
I don't want to see that.
No, I want you to be defending me, duh.
Pretty sure he's
Your
defending
phone
Ricky.
up. This is the courthouse.
Mm-hmm.
Some respect.
Guys, ready for closing?
Oh, hair up, right? Ugly.
Yes, Your Honor, we're ready.
Can't hear you.
Oh, yes,
Sorry,
we're,
yes, Your
we're
Honor.
ready.
Yeah.
Mr. Hench?
We're ready.
Oh, no, I'm getting my record expunged after this.
I know you
Hello.
said.
I'm excited.
Fucking filthy criminal.
Summer, I did that and it lasted 3 hours.
The plaintiff would like to
It lasted 3
remind
hours.
the
Not even
court today
25K. That's like nothing.
of the
I
evidence
paid
that is at
50.
hand.
Maybe because mine was more
Via the
severe.
testimony,
Judge Fudge told me it was only 25K.
we have heard that the gun has been handed over.
Must be nice.
Now, not only has the gun been handed over, but the gun has, but it has been displayed to other higher officers in FTO that this gun had been handed over, even if there is some kind of claim of visual impairment. The defense would like you to believe the lie that it was crossfire. There was some kind of crossfire, or they thought that Mr. Carboni still had a weapon. But the truth is that they were fully informed about the situation. And yet, when he had his hands in the air, they decided to shoot him down in the street. There was no imminent danger from Mr. Carboni. And there needs to be an imminent danger, as I have explained before.
Damn, you got 30 rush for sale right now.
A man with his hands up in the street.
Yeah.
There was no GSR found on Luca or GSR found on Letty.
Hey, that's
There was
me.
no shots from Letty or Luca in this
Is
situation.
it?
We'd like to
That's
remind the
crazy.
court.
Mm-hmm.
That's wild.
What
my
seems
name.
to be here is they did not want someone evading on a bike. What seems to be here is that they shot down Letty, and then Luca was in the middle of the street, and they said it's easier to shoot him down than to deal with the situation normally. In that case, we say that Officer Preacher and the Los Santos Police Department should be held responsible for what they've done. And my client,
Yes, sir.
Luca Carboni, deserves
Yes,
damage
sir.
Luca Carboni.
payment for the damages.
At least he gets stiff every time he's in a
We'd
vehicle.
also like to remind the court that per the evidence that we have looked at and had the
Shut up,
witnesses
Steve.
testified to, there was no way that Luca could be shot down in a crossfire. I do think it is also important to highlight out and read one more time the sentence that Preacher wrote down
Wait,
in
did your
his
dad get you
statement
that chain?
and how it's different from what he says today.
Yeah, my daddy got it.
Oh my
Your
god.
dad or your daddy?
My daddy.
Daddy? Chill.
Right here.
Who's your daddy?
One moment here, let
Right
me
here.
just pull it up.
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, Dad.
Your papa.
Papa.
Here is the full sentence about the handing over of the weapon from Luca Carboni to one of the officers. It says this: officers asked him to hand over his firearm, to which he initially pulled out the gun. but then waited before handing over the firearm to officers on scene. You see, I think this clearly states that Luca Carboni handed over the weapon, but even so, today
Where'd
we
David
heard
go?
testimony from Officer Broccoli
He said he had some things
that
to handle, and he
he
grabbed
did in
everything out
fact
of the
hand
trunk
over the
and
gun,
dipped.
and everybody on scene should
You
have
wanna
been
sleep?
informed.
I believe so. Yeah.
Okay.
Officer Preacher got on the stand
I'll see
today
you have keys, by the way, now,
and
Ricky.
tried to state that he never handed over that
I
weapon.
gotta get up and stretch.
Remember, there was no immediate danger from Luca Carboni, and that is required, absolutely required, to use the level of force that they used on this day. Now, thank the good Lord above that Luca Carboni is still sitting with us here today, thanks to the amazing people, amazing medical professionals of this city. But I'm sure
I have 3 more.
it'd be a lot harder to stand in this courtroom, get on the stand, and flub that
You see them all?
that detail
Yeah.
with his
Cool.
family sitting in the audience if he was no longer alive today.
Oh, God.
I need to talk to a real
So
estate
the
agent.
court,
There's only one though.
we
He's not
urge
even
you
awake.
to find Officer Preacher and the Los Santos Police Department guilty on the count of excessive force
I'm sorry.
due to these facts and due to the evidence.
Oh,
Thank you.
fuck.
Thank you, Hench.
Look as good as that chandelier is hanging. You know that chandelier hanging above us right now. And it
All right,
looks
Your
us,
Honor. A few things that I want to get to before my actual closing statement here. For one, I want to let the record show that during his testimony, Mr. Carboni had identified Senior Officer Berjol as the individual who he had handed his weapon over to. And once Berjol was on stand, we clarified that he was in fact, officer at the scene and was
be right
not, in
back.
fact, the individual who handed
Make sure
the
you
gun
brush
to.
your teeth in the bathroom.
So I want that to be
Objection, he pointed
This
him
is my-
out,
Mr. Hench,
but he did
this is
not.
my closing statements. You cannot.
You said this is before your closing statement.
No, this is a part of my
Let's
closing
not
statements.
argue.
This is not my specific statement. So as it stands, Berjol was not the one who received the gun. As we
See why
had
it matters.
reiterated
The
on
gun
the
was handed
stand,
over.
Berjol
Yeah.
They're
never
arguing
saw
point, and this
the
is
weapon
looking
be
pretty bad
handed
for them.
over
Yeah.
to the cadet. The cadet is in training. He is not a full-time officer.
He said he heard it. He saw it.
In this case, we are calling that Mr. Luca Carboni was in a superseding and interventing position as he admitted to committing a crime by his representation. Committing a crime is an unforeseeable and creates a superseding and intervention case. This means that the police department, to include Officer Preacher, are no longer liable for anything that occurs as a result of Mr. Carboni's action. Secondly, we believe that the officers and Mr. Preacher escalated force correctly as it passes the reasonable officer test. All of the officers employed lethal force because the suspects were using firearms and shooting at officers. With both arguments, Your Honor, we have proved that Mr. Preacher and the police department are not liable for the injuries that Mr. Carboni had. He himself is solely responsible for his injuries because of his own actions. Thank you, Your Honor.
Can I see you both in my chambers?
Ooh, it's
Yes, Your Honor.
chambers.
Ladies and
Both of
gentlemen,
them.
at this time, as the judge renders his
Thank you.
decision,
The
please
Eiffel
no
Tower?
cheering,
Pray to the
no
good Lord above
jeering,
or
no
something.
clapping,
Yep.
no
Oh, Lord.
rowdy, no ruckus, no kerfuffles after the verdict is
Well,
read.
do you know what the Eiffel Tower is?
Thank you.
Absolutely.
I was really planning on raising a ruckus, but
Why
not
wouldn't I know what
anymore.
that is?
You're just
Yeah.
so funny.
I don't know about you.
Hey,
two,
Luca.
but
Oh, hey,
I'm
Luca.
What do we think?
having a major
Luca, do you know what the
kerfuffle.
Eiffel Tower is?
Do you think we could have
Eiffel
a hoot?
Tower?
Maybe he didn't say anything about
Yeah.
He
having
didn't
hoots.
say anything about
Do I
having
know
a
what it
hoot.
is? Yeah.
What about whooping?
Nice.
Why is that some
I
joke?
think you guys got this, to be honest.
Think so?
Yeah.
Yeah, it seems that way. I
I
felt the
think
need to bring up a point about how it was a different officer or cadet or whatever that had received the gun. The relevance to that is just non-existent. The gun was still handed
Regardless,
over.
the gun was not in his
I mean, they
possession.
look
It
alike.
doesn't matter.
The point
He
that
looks
sticks
exactly
out
like the
most to
cadet.
me, which everybody agreed to, is this point right here. I'm not a danger.
That's what I'm saying. He literally is running in circles, bro, and I'm running up the Burger Shot Hill, and I just watched them both get gunned down. I then pulled my gun and shot them because they were shooting at me after I watched both of them go down.
Yep. We'll see. Well, though, judge is fair, but you guys handled yourself. But win, lose, or draw, like I said, the judge will hold you in contempt if you guys cheer or jeer or, get out of hand. So,
no cheering?
nope. Just wait outside and then you can, blow up cop cars or, whatever you guys do.
You're a funny leprechaun, you know that?
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. I'm only 7% leprechaun, though.
You look pretty.
Okay.
You look 57%.
I was 10%, but Lurleen up there, when you got divorced, she took 3% in the divorce.
That's unfortunate. You should sue to get that back.
It turns out we never married, so I just kind of wheeled it to her. 7%'s fine by me.
Okay.
You didn't really lose, right?
Nope.
That's good. That's
It
all
may
that
only
matters.
sound like 3% though, but
How
that's
you feeling,
30%
Luca?
of what you
Confident?
had.
You think we got this, bruh?
Oh,
Yeah,
damn,
hopefully.
that's true.
I mean,
What are you gonna do with your winnings?
I don't think you're going to
give
get
half of it to the
though.
goddamn
you're
greatest
not,
lawyer ever.
you're not getting $500,000.
I think you'll probably get 110,000. That's my guess.
I'd
What
say
the heck,
200.
Becky?
What the hecky, Becky? I'd say
Well,
250K.
No, I don't think so, but 125 maybe. And listen, you always listen
Remember,
to a
PD's
leprechaun
broke.
about money.
HRS.
PD is
I
not
can't argue
broke.
with that.
I just paid 970 something thousand.
Holy cow!
Yeah, PD ain't broke.
I have 30,000 in the bank, and I thought I was doing swell. But I'm gonna make the judge pay me because this is going on a 2-hour court case.
Wait.
Good idea. Wait, it's been 2 hours?
Yeah,
You're
1 hour and 50
right.
minutes.
Damn.
All right. Well, you guys, good luck. Rusty loves you.
You
Bye.
put- you-
There's nobody here.
There ain't no shit. There ain't
Oh, they're
shit
probably
going
in
on.
recess. They're probably in recess.
Oh my god, there's Lucky Charms.
There's actually a lot of people here. I'm kind of scared. Chilling. Just make sure you're not screaming.
I gotta go make fun of Lucky Charms.
Okay. I mean, like the goat, Cinnamon Toast Crunch. It's just straight goat. It genuinely is a straight goat. There's nothing better.
I'm gonna lose my shit if the volume in my earbuds does not stop lowering on its own.
Yeah. Yeah. No.
Oh.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, I'm 2 ahead of you.
Like,
Bozo.
how are you getting back? You don't have a car.
Nice. Is Hubert down
Ain't
there?
no way this fucking court case is still going on.
God
I
damn,
think
Lucky Charms, you stink.
I think they're playing recess.
Oh no.
You bathed with Irish Spring.
Bad boy at recess. Should I just? Yo, should I just bring her down there?
Hey, Summer.
Hey.
Thank you for your service.
Hey, Summer.
Hey, look, that's the guy we arrested on a warrant today beside Summer.
Yeah. Summer wants me.
Doing.
Go get her.
No, I don't. I'm just nice.
No, I think he's GSM.
Marlo, no thank you.
Who keeps talking up there? We can hear you.
Marlo.
No, upstairs. They're talking so loud.
Well, don't tell them. I want to hear what they're saying. Oh man.
It's a good song. I like it.
Right? What I thought.
Dog shit.
What?
Joking.
confusing.
Joking.
Those are conflicting. That's two conflicting things. What?
Roll. I'm trolling. Haha, just kidding. LOL.
Try toxic. Like Kalani.
Yeah, eat that donut or whatever it is. It was like going into your nose. You're scarfing the donut down. Ow.
Oh, hello.
Marlo!
Oh,
Oh,
shit.
God!
Marlo,
please get your ass back up.
Lieutenant Nathaniel Marlowe, San Andreas State Police, the one and only 104.
I want to hit you so bad.
You can lick my
Right in the
balls,
face.
Marlo.
Will somebody
You
tell
arrest me if
Lieutenant
I just
Marlowe to
give you a
lower
little
his
punch in
voice
the
next
face?
time he stumbles into the court half drunk?
No.
He is not drunk.
I say half
During
drunk.
those parameters, yes. If he is drunk, I will let him know.
Or even half cocked.
Oh, God! Try that one.
Sorry, I got scared of the my heights. I looked down too far. Yeah. I'm in glory. I'm not Easton. It's Austin, Huber.
I'm so sorry,
take that.
sweetheart. That was an
Take that.
accident.
Take that.
It didn't look like
That
an
was an
accident. She
accident.
fucking
It
pulled back on
was.
that one.
Just kidding. Just kidding, Letty.
Wait, what happened? What'd you say? You.
Fuck nerd.
What?
Stop. I would never hate you regardless.
Polo.
Literally, you
that's
know
not
what
Easton Lane. Easton
happened
Lane
this
doesn't go on
summer? We
duty,
were
it's
in
Chase.
a war between like both our crews, and I saw
Yeah,
you.
Grant
I
Chase. It
dropped
wasn't
my
Easton
weapon.
Lane.
and
Easton
do
Lane
this.
doesn't go on duty.
Wait, they saw me?
If I saw you, I dropped my weapon.
What
and
do you
this.
mean?
If we were ever at war with each other.
I would say, you know what? I can't do this.
Yeah, it's Grant Chase.
And then with
Grant
I can't do this.
Chase.
Marlo, we can hear you down here, bro.
Good for you.
Yeah. What do you want to spell?
Marlo wants everyone in the world to hear him because he's so fucking loud.
Dog, G-O-D, the one and only Nathaniel Marlowe.
Meow.
Why it's freaking talking so loud? So what happened with you and Zach, Summer? What happened with you and Zach's whisper?
Oh. Well.
I'm thinking about becoming a gang member.
Go here in this corner.
I think I'm gonna start my own gang. Yeah, but I'm gonna start this gang called Black Royal.
Mr. Marlowe, please don't yell in the court per the judge's orders. Thank
I'll
you.
yell however the fuck I want to yell. Pissing me off down there.
Well, it's better to be pissed off than pissed on.
I'm gonna fucking stomp on you. Stay right there. No, stay right there. Go back.
Do it.
Go back to
Do
where
it.
you were standing.
No balls.
Yeah, go back to where you're standing. You're lucky I can't jump that far.
You can't even see that far, you alcoholic.
And?
Lower your voice.
Move closer, motherfucker.
I have extra if you need it. Just don't know what the fuck is happening.
Yeah, look at him walking away. I was gonna swanton bomb his ass.
You were gonna get thrown off the third cell like mankind. You hippie.
Yeah, guess what? Mankind
we all
tanked that
woke up.
shit.
Thought about it.
Oh,
Dodo.
son of a bitch.
Oh, can you move, you slow ass motherfucker?
Oh yeah, calm down. You can make me act up.
There's an actual Lucky Charms on this guy and his gallery off of Rusty Trumpet.
That's it. I need to go. What'd you say?
Bro, why you so close to me, bro?
Rusty Frumpet.
Dude, that's so funny.
Play some Angry Birds.
What'd you say about nothing?
Damn. You get yourself a nice handful?
Yeah. What?
Firm, right? Take a whiff. It's real, right? It's 100% Marlowe meat.
What?
The fuck?
What? I didn't.
But you felt it though, right? It was Marlowe
No,
meat,
there's a
right?
bitch on my-
Oh my
hi,
gosh,
Robert.
shut
We're
up.
at the courthouse waiting for the judge. The interceptor's there.
Bro, can you stop breathing on my neck, you weird ass
Hoover
motherfucker?
and Marlowe.
You can now only address me as the one and only.
With who?
Mr. Clean, get off my fucking neck.
We talk here. Hear them talk. The whole time you've been having him? Want to try taking a nap? Yeah. I'm just gonna uncuff you so that, you know, just don't run.
Hey, sit your ass down, Goofy. You can't see shit.
Yeah, you're good. What'd you tell to Fatty?
Hey, Red Jack, your motherfucker. Sit your ass down. I can't see shit, bro.
Oh, my bad. She's having headaches, yeah. I might just break into the judge's quarters.
Who the fuck you talking to?
Who the fuck
Ladies and gentlemen,
Shut
please
your ass
rise.
up.
Again, I'm gonna warn you.
Excuse me.
I'm gonna warn you.
Alright,
After the
the
judge
fuck I
reads
thought,
it,
pussy.
ladies and gentlemen,
Damn, you got a lot of
listen.
tattoos.
Hey, boss man, can you sit your
Once
ass
they
down? I
read
can't
the
see shit,
verdict,
bro.
there will
Yo,
be
bro,
order
why you
in the
talking like
court.
that though? You talking crazy.
Alright, sit on the chair, big dog. I can't see back there.
Discuss the case with the parties.
I'm talking like that.
And we have reached a decision. I'm not going to explain my decision to
Sit
to
your
the
ass.
because
tried
more
that.
because
Can't
I've
see
already
shit.
explained to the attorneys and they understand.
Yeah, bro, do the walk of shame.
Shut up.
I don't know what the fuck to tell you then.
Plaintiffs are asking for damages in emotional and pain and suffering damages and punitive damage. The court has not heard one single piece of evidence that proves any emotional damages. So I'm awarding $1.
Revenge?
Talk with your chest.
$1.
You wanna go over there?
I am
You
going
said
to award
$1?
$50,000 damages and punitive damages and $20,000 in legal fees
What
to
is
the
he saying,
attorneys.
bro?
So it's $70,000 finding LSPD and Mr. Preacher liable in this case for $70,000 and $1.
Ladies and gentlemen, court is now dismissed. Thank you.
Oh, we shouldn't even move, bro.
Only 70,000.
Well, I have shit to do after this. I gotta talk to the judge.
to say anything.
Bro, can you sit down? I can't see nothing.
All right, you guys can cheer now. Court's
We're
over.
outta here.
Congratulations.
Yeah, let's get out of here.
Yeah, bro.
Congratulations. Congratulations.
Hey,
Good.
hey,
God.
free my cop out. Don't go
Yeah,
like
this
that.
motherfucker. Start getting mad.
Is that, wait, do I hear towers?
I think they're all.
Hey, is this guy going to jail or what?
Oh, fucking, that guy's crazy.
Unfortunately.
Joe, we don't know why they got. We don't know why we got sued. We didn't. LSPD did. LSPD.
Pat, you did so good, brother.
Oh, hey, whoa. Hey, Pat, come on over here then.
Uniforms look exactly like us.
Letty and Polo around us.
Hey, Judge.
Judge.
They should be.
Hey,
me walking with a limp, bro?
Judge.
Motherfucker got gout, bro.
Hey, we need you. Oh my God.
We
that
going in?
fucking-
God damn, Summer.
What's up, Summer?
That's what I'm
thinking.
Got you falling for me again?
Can you come? We need to
Do
talk
we?
to you. Hey, can you put those
Oh, we can
fucking
wait.
weapons away? God damn.
I didn't hear you. Did you say so?
Oh, come here, come here.
Hey,
Oh, I said we can wait, I
My
guess.
stuff's in the back of your
Wait, hold on. Hold on. Do I look good?
back of your
Yeah,
truck.
you're gonna let her have those
My
fucking
gun
cannons?
and my hammer.
What'd you say?